back at it again. Z and I we're back, hey guys. So it's another week, another Neo, and we have a special guest today. This is Sam.
What's up? How's everyone doing?
Yeah, he's got a lot to talk about today. Because today's topic is as hectic as it's ever been. Intense. It's ever been. Today's. What do you say it? Because this is too much. I'm gonna cry.
Okay. So I guess we're talking about tipping culture, right?
That's a topic for today.
Culture.
For all of you guys who are, we have audiences across the world, across the globe.
25
circle, of course. 26 tomorrow because I'm gonna make another. But yeah, so for all you guys all of you who don't know what tipping culture is, basically in Western society, we have this thing where if you go to a restaurant, some places ask you, "Hey, do you want to give me an extra $1 because I just took your order?" Or, "Hey, I did a really good job and I took care of you guys. I came back and I asked you for how you doing, you want more water," kind of stuff. So it's just you pay for your service. This is just an extra added cost you pay for, if you got good service. And I think it's a pretty important, topic.
Wait, what do you guys think tipping is? And like tipping in a restaurant, what do you guys define as tipping?
I think it's just like a gratuity thing to say, like, you did like above and beyond what your job required. So here's just like,
Yeah.
extra
I
cash.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. I mean, it's like how I'd say it too, because it's not because like tipping. Because nowadays tipping is more like it's like a bare minimum now. Now, like in my opinion,
Yeah.
it's like it's not for me. It's like it's normalized tipping because like you go to a restaurant, most likely they do enough to do a tip. It's not like they do the bare minimum like how they do in fast food chains.
Mm-hmm.
So like
I think it's like a perk, in my opinion, because like it's a complicated topic, but I think it's something like if you took care of me as I'm eating and you just make sure I had a good meal and I was taking like good care of, then I'm gonna give you the extra money. But at the end of the day, it's like it's as a customer, it's my money, right? So what I do with it, I don't think it should be judged, because I think the issue here is that I have the whole tipping culture is that. And I've seen a lot of places, a lot of people voice their opinion on like social media is that a lot of people are starting to expect tips and like it's just become, as you said, the norm. Like it's just bare minimum right now, which I don't know. What do you think, Gaji?
Tipping culture, right?
Yeah.
What these guys said is just like you go to a restaurant, when you eat out or anything like that, you're sitting inside a restaurant, like a fancy restaurant, you're most likely going to pay a little bit extra just because of the environment. And like, depending on the person who's serving you, if they're nice to you, then you're going to tip them. It's kind of like a reward, a perk, like a gratitude thing. Like, how do you say that word?
gratuity.
Gratuity,
Is that a
yeah.
word?
Gratuity.
It just sounded weird now. Gratuity.
I feel like there's like there's good and bad sides.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're a server and you're doing beyond what's asked for you, then you're well deserving
Yeah,
of
you
that tip,
deserve
right?
something.
But then I feel like nowadays is like a lot of my experiences, like if you go to a restaurant, like I'm gonna tip because I guess like my dad works in a restaurant and like he always like say you should tip, because like it's kind of normal now, and like that kind of like I end up just like I know I'm gonna tip, I just don't know how much.
See, like, I also work in the restaurant industry, so I kind of like have like a background of it. I've also worked in like the front of house, so I have kind of know a little bit, right? So, like, I think about it like this. Most of the Western society, like how wages are for servers, they're a lot less than what you typically make as minimum wage, right?
Yeah.
So most of their money is coming in from their tips, right? So servers are kind of expected, like, okay, this is like, if I go above and beyond, I get more tips, I'm making more bank, right? But aside from restaurant industry also, there's tipping in like Uber Eats and like Skip the Dishes through those delivery apps, which a lot of delivery drivers are expecting more tips than they usually get, right? And that's like already adding more money because it's already like a $6 delivery fee plus like service tax and bunch of bullshit.
I recently signed up for Uber Eats, so like I would it'd be nice to
sign up at the wrong time.
Just think about it.
Yeah.
Like the core issue for me and like a lot of people The tipping is, as you said, it's for both industries, restaurant or like Uber Eats or the delivery industry. It's the company that is fucking over the employee because think about Uber Eats. They take pretty much a majority of the person's delivery, whatever food they're delivering, that payment, majority of it goes to the Uber Eats, and then they get a portion. So then, like even when I ordered Uber Eats, right? It said on the thing like the tip, 100% of the tip goes to the employee. The fact that they have to say that, it just kind of like says that like they weren't doing that before. That means they were just taking most of the money, right? And I don't mind tipping an Uber Eats driver. I'd rather tip an Uber Eats driver because like imagine it's like wintertime and these guys are fucking
they
and like dude, I did
time.
skip the dish.
Yeah.
It's hard trying to find places sometimes. Like people are stupid. They don't put instructions. And then in the restaurant industry, it's the same thing, right? Where like I think it's the company's due diligence as an employer to pay your employees wages, like livable wages or at least minimum wage, and then like the tip should be a perk.
The thing is, what I don't like about it, because like yes, I do agree with that, but like there are people on social media who'd be like, "Yo, why didn't I tip? Why didn't you give me a tip?" Right? And I feel like I understand like it's not our job to tip you.
Yeah.
Like we're not obligated to give you our money. Like we are hard work, and we define on giving you tips depending on how well you did the service, right? But like. Thing is like people are just so over dramatic. It's like and then there's a debate. Yeah, you should tip. And like no, I don't have to tip my own money and stuff like that. The company is responsible for paying you, and obviously like what they're doing is wrong because they shouldn't be paying you under the minimum wage. Because I have at least like my experience, I haven't seen any job at least in Ontario that's giving you under minimum wage for a serving job. But
I've seen
in the states, it's common.
It's common around the States.
Right?
I mean, they get paid below minimum wage like pretty often too.
No, it's not. It's well below minimum wage. It's crazy.
It's almost like half.
Like,
and then there's the whole other society in like Japan where it's considered rude to tip because like people are making an honest living and they are getting paid what they should be getting paid.
Also, like their cost of living is a lot like lower than ours.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
And they don't like there's not much of a capitalism like government. So
No,
they
I
like
can see why like some people will be like if you're just giving them extra money, it can be
It's
like
like
disrespectful.
you're not making enough.
No, they
here's like
to help you out.
Yeah.
type
It's
thing.
like
it's
also
like charity type thing.
charity.
Yeah.
It's also the
That's-
culture, right? Japanese culture is very like respectful of like one another. I mean, fuck, they have like two different ways of using their language for older people versus younger people versus teachers versus your mailman, whatever, right? And as opposed to like Western culture where it's just like we've gone to shit, man. I'm sorry, but it's just going downhill. Like Canada is literally nowadays just like, hey, this is America and this is the country that's not America. Literally, it's
Canada's more so like we're American, but we're not that American.
yeah. It's like, hey, like
We're
we're kind of we're a little better than
Yeah.
America, but
we're a little bit better, but
We're
like
the nicer Americans.
Nicer,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, nicer airports.
that's
We
cap.
just say
That-
sorry, I can't tip.
sorry, no, I can't tip. It's all good. I understand. I'm sorry for asking for the tip.
Another thing, tipping culture is not only specifically to the food industry.
Yeah.
Also, like if you guys go to like tattoo parlors that do like your piercings
Oh,
and
I've
tattoos.
never heard of that. That's
Yeah.
what
A lot of
Actually?
people, do
Yeah, yeah.
tip their tattoo artists for doing like an insane job.
And it's like it's actually
I feel
kind of
like-
like
I
common
feel like-
courtesy in tattoo parlors. I've noticed
Yeah,
that.
I feel like if you're a really experienced tattoo driver, you know your worth. You can just charge how much you want and not expect tip.
yeah. But it's
Well,
like the
I don't-
customer usually
Yeah.
sometimes gives a tip saying like,
It's an appreciation.
hey, it's like I appreciate like this work that you did, because they put in hours sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
Gosh.
Also, it's
some
like
people get pieces that are like 12 hours one session,
That's true, yeah.
where the tattoo artists and they're just sitting there for
it's one-on-one.
Yeah, it's one-on-one.
Like most of the
Kind
time, these
bond
guys
with them.
aren't like antisocial. They're pretty talkative, right?
Yeah,
No,
they
I
kind of
mean,
get
for
it
that
bond
service,
with
I mean, but
the
they
person
have
too.
to be, right? You're in a session for that
I mean,
long.
that's where you
and
don't
you're-
tip, right?
yeah.
Like, say if the guy is just mute for the whole 12 hours, like not asking if you're, okay, do you want to take a break, all that type of stuff, and you do like an 8-hour session, then you probably don't have the incentive to tip. But if the guy's like taking care of you, hey, let's like you want to get a drink or like you want to get water or whatever, let's take a break, he tells you how things are gonna be, then you're gonna like be like, yeah, this guy took care of me, it's a good tattoo, pay him a little extra,
It's also
stuff like that.
that payment is fully going to the tattoo
To the guy,
artist.
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
It's a personalized tip.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of restaurant tips is what they do is they take like a minimum like percentage from the server's tip. It's called a tip out. That's what we call it here that I know of. So that tip out a portion of it goes to like the back of the house. So some of the cooks and even like the managers probably get some tips. I know because when I used to work in one place, we used to get tip out. So servers would tip out, I think, 4% of their tips to entire back of house, and then we'd get that in like a tip pool every other week.
Nice.
So
Well, I mean, it makes sense because usually cooks should be getting
Yeah, they
higher
should
than
be.
I
chefs.
think that's
They
a
do.
fair way
They,
to do
like,
it.
they're basically at the backbone of like the whole
Yeah.
restaurant,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
You
how
make
there's
it
no
be
But it
food.
makes
amazing.
but it makes sense if servers are getting the most tips because they got to deal with the
they're
most bullshit.
dealing with the people
Yeah.
directly.
Yeah.
But
That's
it
good.
does make
But
sense.
then here's the thing though. I'm not trying to demean any kind of work. Like I understand, like you know how you said service take shit too. Say like so in that case, would you think like customer service jobs, where like you know for example like I worked at a retail store, I was working customer service, took shit every day like for like probably like 10. I got like called racist shit, like an asshole, piece of shit, everything you can name I got called. The thing is like, do I deserve to get tipped for that though?
The thing is, most of the times, like in retail places, they don't allow you to take tips.
That's the thing too.
Yo, actually, so
But like
I'll
comparing the actual like abusiveness of the environments, like it's pretty similar, I'd assume, because you're just
Yeah.
talking shit to someone, right? Like, see
Okay,
someone talking.
I'll
shit
say
to someone.
this from my work. I won't say the name, but like from my workplace, right? There's certain like because I like I used to work in like food, right?
Mhm.
There's certain like I say areas that where you're not allowed to accept tips because it's branded, right?
Like
Mhm.
what?
Like it'd be like it's branded like pizza or something.
Oh, okay, yeah, got it.
Like, right?
Big chain.
Right, you're allowed to accept it, but you're not allowed to have like a tip tray or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Right, and one thing from my work, and like one thing that was so common, like I think is that because like a lot of restaurants, when you tip, you can tip on machine, right? You don't have to tip in cash.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They don't have that at my workplace. Like you
They don't have
have,
machines.
they have machines, but they don't have the
option.
option
Oh,
to
the tip
tip,
option.
right? Because like for us, like we can make, because we already, I mean to be fair, we already do get paid a lot, right? For a job that's like basically a minimum wage, but like obviously we're, like unionized, but like we get paid like a lot, but like obviously tip is like additional, but we get more in money in tips. We like a lot of like the fans and customers would be like, how come they don't add that? Because I honestly I don't know, I have no control of that. Like I honestly
Yeah.
like honestly I can say like my real truth, but like I can like there's so much you can like
You'd probably get fired.
low-key.
Yeah.
Bro.
Well, it's just all it takes is a wrong customer to go snitch on you, and then you're just.
Yeah, that's
But here's my issue. Like one of the bigger issues I find, for example, today I got food from a certain wing place, and good wings, amazing wings, even better waitresses. But
Was she there?
We'll get back on. We'll get back on that topic. I got something to say. But
oh yeah,
continue.
yeah. So all I did was I ordered something, I paid for it, and I walked out. I came back, got my food. It still asked me to tip, and I pressed no. I didn't tip because she didn't do anything except for take the order, right?
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit. I just, straight order. I asked her for some advice. What do you recommend? Stuff like that. Why do, like, I guess at that point it's more so like if they go above and beyond. But I find like a lot of places are abusing that now.
Yeah.
They're tipping the wrong things. It's like, it's becoming more, it's
I
more
feel
than
like-
just service. It's like, it's becoming like a demand,
It's an expectation.
Yeah, it's like an
Yeah.
expectation, kind of like the status quo, and I don't like that.
I think for like because like COVID because it is a restaurant, right?
That's fair enough.
Because
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
a restaurant. Because obviously when you go in a restaurant, it's like I said before, tipping is not normalized.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And like for me, I guess like when I go, it's like there's some even if it's takeout, it's like kind of normal to tip now.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of like a routine now. It's like
But
it's
why
sit
though?
down.
But
But
like,
I get what you're saying. Like
Were you gonna say something?
We'll get back into it. We'll get
is it
back
about
to that
tipping or
topic.
waitresses?
It's about waitresses.
Oh,
I think one thing
No.
about the wing place, you know how they have that option for the tipping option?
Yeah.
It's because most people, it's like a courtesy of tipping, right?
I think they're
So when
taking
you get to that
advantage of
page
that.
on the screen,
Yeah.
you're gonna feel like you,
You
have to tip,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you're gonna go with like one of the options,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then yeah.
That's what I do. I usually like say, okay, whatever, I'll just tip the bare minimum
Yeah.
at least. But I also feel like a lot of these takeout places are kind of abusing it because right now it is just takeout, but I also feel like the restaurant industry deserves it right now,
Yeah.
especially through COVID, and we've been closed for over a year and a half. So a lot of places aren't really getting that much help from the government right now because there's no like plan for
Yeah.
it.
I feel
They're
like
kind of working on it,
but I like at a time like this, like I guess like tipping is like it's something for them, right? It's like and it's like it's not like and it's not like obviously it's our choice, but you know what? Like let me help this small business during this hard time.
Exactly.
So like,
Exactly. I was that. any day of the week I tip a smaller business over like a mass food chain. You know, I'm not gonna go to a fucking pizza and tip them. Hell no, you're not getting my money. No,
Yeah.
Yo,
just the
wait,
pizza. That's
I
all.
remember you guys said something like this. Didn't you say like fast food chains in like America they're gonna add a tip option or something like that?
Yeah, so I don't know which one. I don't want to name drop because
You said you don't know which one.
Yeah,
yeah, but again,
No, you know,
they're basically trying to add tips into the payment, and I think some places already do this where they already have the tip
Yeah.
preset into your payment. So say your bill was like $25, and they would tip you like
They automatically.
they
charge
already
you
have like
rate,
$5 tip
Yeah.
in there, and you
Yeah.
just be looking at it like what the fuck? My food was like $22 plus tax 25, so why is it 30? Stuff like that, you know, and they just be like, okay, it's not cool.
I feel like
If it's a takeout place like that, I
And
feel
it's
like that's
just-
kind of
it's shit.
suspect. But a lot of places that I see doing that are more like those Asian restaurants that
Yeah.
kind of do like the hibachi, where they're actually coming up to you and serving you, and the tip is already included.
Included, yeah.
So that's kind of part of the
Even then-
gratuity because they bring the food to you.
No, I totally get that. Like the thing is, I would tip you. It's just like don't
make it an option.
make it an
Don't
assumption
make
that
it-
I'm gonna tip you.
Yeah.
It's just like I shit you know, it sounds so corny, but it's like a freedom of speech kind of freedom of like act thing where it's like you shouldn't be just playing with my money. You know, it's
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
you don't know. Maybe I saved up like 2 months worth of fucking paychecks just to come for this one little thing.
Exactly.
And this is what happened. Like this when I went on a date this one day, and I actually did not have enough money, but like I mustered up just the right amount to pay for the food. We ate, and the service was shit, but like it wasn't even a good place to be honest. But we went, and then the girl came and she's like, "Oh, like I noticed you didn't tip," and she confronted me about it. And right then I was so I was just like, "This is stupid. Like I'm not gonna give you an answer for this." So I just walked out. But stuff like that, when people just feel entitled to tip,
Because
it's
it
like,
just goes back because
Yeah.
most of the servers
cool.
make their money from tips, right?
exactly. I
She was
think
probably having a bad night and
No,
she
she
wasn't
was-
getting enough tips or something. And
nah, she was dancing around with people and she was drinking and ignoring. That's chase for ketchup, man. Not cool.
Bro, I mean, I don't know about like how bartenders usually are at like work, but I don't think you're supposed to drink at your job, especially like.
no,
Just like
I-
shot
bartenders are allowed
I'm
to
pretty-
have drinks.
I'm pretty sure like you're not. I'm pretty
Because I think like
Not like
all the
you know,
time.
go
Any
off
job.
and just like
no, I think like any
Be
job,
drinking
period,
every
by the law,
round.
you can't drink while you're working, right?
Not like you just have to know your limit. Like you can't get like sloshed.
No, 'cause-
during work
no,
time.
bartenders are allowed to
Yeah, you can drink.
drink.
Yeah.
While they serve people.
Because
It
imagine
just
a
doesn't
bartender
sound right to
drink,
me.
serving you.
No, I mean,
No, it's not
doesn't
like
mean
you're
you
getting
can't drink
drunk.
on the work. Just
The thing is, they're not getting
You're not
drunk.
gonna
They're
get
just
drunk.
like
No, I know, but, like-
casually having a drink because a lot of it's like the culture, right?
Yeah, it's like
It's
if
the
the
whole
bartender's drinking too,
bar
and they're
depending-
drinking
I think it's more so
Feels
like
nice.
like it's just like everyone kind of accepts it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think like legally they're allowed to drink on the job.
I don't know. You might have to look into like the liquor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
I'll
know
actually have
if
to
the-
look into
I
that.
don't know like the details about
It just
that,
doesn't
but-
seem right to me because like
yeah.
because like it's the same as smoking, right? You're not allowed to smoke marijuana, also for health reason. But why
No,
would
but
you
that's
use alcohol for health
completely
reasons?
That's
different because
different,
you're an
yeah.
establishment
Yeah.
that's already serving
Serving
alcohol.
the, yeah.
So it just kind of feels right. You have a bartender that knows their drinks, right?
No,
That's
but
what-
there's a difference between knowing and drinking on the job, right?
Yeah, well, it's
You
not
still
like
know your drinks because you
you're
drink
getting
outside of
drunk.
work.
Though. It's
No, I'm not saying the guy's getting plastered and fucking starting
Yeah.
a bar fight, but it's more so like it just doesn't seem. I totally agree. If I was a bartender, I'd drink on the job.
Exactly.
Because
You're
I'm just like it
casually,
just
like
doesn't.
having a beer or like a little drink because
Yeah.
even like I'm gonna say this, half of the cooks, more than like not even half, I'd say 90% of the cooks are always on something
Mhm.
Yeah.
while they're working. I'm not gonna say like go deep into what they do, but a lot of people that know and work in the restaurant industry, chefs and cooks do hectic things back of the kitchen, and
That's
you don't see
stressful,
that.
right? Yeah.
You don't see that. A lot of cooks
Fuck,
drink
man.
while working on the job, and
Yeah,
bartenders will.
I'm expecting if they're gonna drink, it'd be wine. I wouldn't expect them to drink like shots.
No.
Probably like flasks, just take a
No,
shot.
because like even like at the end of the service, sometimes we'd all get like a round of drinks, like
Yeah.
on the house or something, and it's just kind of clean up. But sometimes cooks would drink like during rush hour or do other things. So it's just kind of the culture of restaurant.
Yeah,
industry.
fair enough. I never worked in, so I wouldn't know.
But,
so.
Yeah, so one thing about the tipping thing is like before, like back then, I used to never understand why you tip because you're already paying so much for the food.
Yeah.
But I never really understood like how much people are getting paid, what's going behind the scenes, like how it is in that environment, right?
But the thing is,
So
like,
that's one of the reasons I used to not tip.
Most cooks that enter the restaurant for the first time, they're only getting paid minimum wage.
Yeah,
If that. Some commies and like some cooks that start off get paid even less than minimum wage because they're expected to like live up to standard first and like learn everything, and then they get paid the minimum.
But isn't that
wage.
wrong though?
I don't.
That's just how the restaurant industry is.
I don't know.
But I feel like that's something they gotta work on.
I've heard like like
It just sounds wrong. Like
no, but
I think
now
everyone is entitled to minimum wage. That is established.
Yeah.
That's a fucking law.
But like in the restaurant industry, I know this.
So how do they get away with it? I'm curious.
But because they know they're gonna be getting the tip money, so like it kind of compensates.
It's
for like,
some,
lower
it's
wage.
something the law. It's something like
Law allows them to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
because the laws are like, oh yeah, it's because in North America.
But I feel
you
like
can
that
lower-
just breeds this whole situation we're in, where like companies aren't paying their employees the right wages.
Yeah.
No,
They're just expecting.
that's because of
tips to make
tip.
up for
It's
it.
because of tipping culture in
But
North
I feel like
America.
tipping culture is happening because these companies are also not paying their employees the right wages.
No, but like if they're all getting the right wages, they don't have to
Yeah.
really go above and beyond. They can just do what they have to
No,
do.
but hey, like I
Which you don't have to tip them
I
at all.
disagree with that because when I was in customer service, I went above and beyond all the time, and a lot of people did too.
See, that's you personally.
Yeah.
But that's the
A
thing. It
lot of
wasn't
people
just
just
me.
think like, okay, this is just a job. This is another job for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just required what's like the job description.
Yeah.
That's it.
Restaurants
enough,
are
but,
completely
like,
different.
Yeah, but think about this though. What do you consider above and beyond? Because to
Because, like,
me,
Because these guys, even if they're making minimum wage, if
Yeah.
they're giving like excellent service and they're getting that tip money, they're making way more than
Yeah.
minimum wage.
yeah, no, I'm cool with like someone. If I'm tipping someone to give me a really good service, I'm cool with that. I'm all for that. But my issue comes with that is like, what do you think is the bare minimum? Because for me, the bare minimum when I go to a restaurant is, like they come around like at least once or twice during my meal just to ask if I need like anything, or at least once, just be like, hey, you want to refill water or whatever. That's cool. Like that's all I need, and I think I don't even consider that bare minimum. I just think that's part of your job.
I'll say this. Sometimes, like, depending on what type of restaurant you're going to.
Also
'cause-
busy. Yeah, I get
Right. You like my dad explained this stuff to me because he said he was like, yo, he said it was like he's gonna open a restaurant. He's thought about it,
Mhm.
and he said like his front staff is going to be girls, and a lot of because a lot of like guys go in there, guys will more likely tip just because it's a girl.
Exactly.
That was
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
That's not. It's not. It's not. It's,
So is that gender inequality?
I mean, no,
Yes, it's
because
not.
like think about it this way: most servers, like that are servers, they're female, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of places like kind of say, you guys gotta wear a certain dress or look a certain
dress
way
code. So
to
it's
attract
for
customers.
Yeah.
Because a lot of most tips go towards the bartender, especially from like guys that are at the bar drinking.
So,
They're drunk, they see a nice
like
server,
even
they'll tip.
even
Here's
when
a
you're
question
I'm saying
for
that's
you.
like how it is. Like,
Yeah.
that's just
Here's a
how
question for you.
society is, right?
So if I were to not tip a girl, but she was wearing, because you said that most of these tips go to these girls because they wear provocative stuff. It's
Not-
at least
I'm not
it's
saying
like-
that.
because of the
Sorry, at least it's,
It
they look
depends.
good though. They look good in their
It
video.
depends.
So
Depends on the restaurant. If it's Hooters, then yeah, they're gonna get the money.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But would I be a bad guy if I didn't tip this
No,
girl
it's-
because
no.
even though she looked amazing and she was like a fucking model, if I don't tip her, am I a bad guy?
No.
You're not a bad guy. I just
No,
think
okay.
you're like you don't have. I mean, you're straight, right? So, but like, see,
Just call me gay.
no, okay. I'm not.
I'm not gay. I mean,
No, I said you're just, like any straight male. I'm just saying this like,
No, Savannah,
not
Savannah,
categorizing
it's
anything,
different.
but I'm just saying like
No,
any
I'm-
straight guy drinking
Yeah.
at a bar that sees like who has a hot server
Yeah.
will probably be like drunk after a couple of drinks and be like, you know what, she's so gorgeous and she served me well. I'm gonna tip her extra.
You don't need to be drunk to tip.
Okay, so
Exactly. You don't
here's the,
just-
here's
you
the
just
question,
need to
because we were
attract
talking
them,
about
guys.
service and shit, right? So it's not the service, it's just the fact that she's attractive.
It's a lot of factors that
It's not.
weigh
It's
into
not
it.
just like the service. It's
What if
also,
she was a shit service? Would you still tip her if she was
No,
attractive?
me personally,
No,
but
right.
I feel like a lot of people do actually
Okay.
tip based on servers' looks.
I think
Yeah.
those people are either
Yeah.
really stupid or don't know how to fucking work with their money.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I've
But
never
that's
been.
just
I've
how
never
it
been
is,
in that
because-
position, because like a lot of my times are like, okay, servers are decent looking. I had good service. It's good enough for me to tip, and I'll tip her.
Yeah.
Right? It's more so like if you like. It's depending on like if you had a bad situation, how the
Mhm.
server handled it, right?
That's
Because like
true, yeah,
because let's
yeah.
just say like okay, like your food, okay, so they messed up your food, it doesn't taste good, and she like okay, like you explain to her, or something happened, or they're taking too long. Is how would they handle it, right? If they handle it really well, then you can tip her, or whoever's the server,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
At the end of the day, it is up to you.
It is
Yeah.
up to you.
But that's it's kind of like a personal choice, right?
Yeah, I think like
Right?
that's what it comes at. It is up to you, and
It's
my
a personal
problem
choice.
stems from the fact that they're making it seem like it's not up to you, or not. They, as in like a lot of industries, are taking advantage of the fact that tipping cultures
Yeah.
here and
Yeah, but they're not just
Yeah.
taking advantage of that. They're also taking advantage of like even like we just talked about girls. They're taking advantage of girls because a lot of times like
Yeah,
their
it's like
businesses from
Hooters and
like
all these places that require girls to wear like fucking skirts that are like halfway up their ass and shit.
so that's not the only thing. Some restaurants would have to discriminate you in order to hire like
Yeah.
the most attractive
Yeah.
people because
Yeah.
it's like an image for them. Right?
I was
Wasn't it the
I was
end of
a,
the day?
I was a supervisor, right? So I did go through the hiring process, and managers would ask, you know, how that person kind of looked and how their like, you know, demeanor was, and if they were like if they looked a certain way and they like acted a certain way, you know, they'd go into like the priority list. Whereas somebody that's not so like, you know, good looking or like, you know, has like a quiet personality, they wouldn't fit well in that position. Because as a server, you kind of have to be that
You have to be
outgoing
outgoing,
person, you know, kind of make
Fair enough,
people feel welcome and
Put
like,
yourself out
engage
there.
with your customers.
Because
Right?
your energy kind of represents the restaurant at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but looks are like.
But I feel like that's kind of for anything, right? Because people judge him on your looks every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Work,
and most people that go to
school.
bars though, like they don't just drink and just sit there.
Yeah,
They're
they
usually
do.
talking to the bartender,
They're
like, going
usually
back
talking
and
to the
forth.
bartender, yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
for the time, they're just paying for it too.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
fair enough, I guess. But yeah, like, what do you guys think? If you had an issue with the tipping culture, what would you think is the main core of it all, or at least you know to the general degree?
I feel like they should pay their servers.
So it's the employers being
Yeah.
negligent for the.
Well, I mean, it's also the law too, right? Like.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they get a little leeway from the government because they're paying people, you know, less than what they should be getting. But
So,
what do you?
so if you think that if servers made minimum wage, do you think they would still be getting the same amount of money from tips?
Yeah, probably the same amount. I hope it gets allocated better, evenly,
Even
more
throughout
fairly
the-
throughout the store.
throughout-
So
no,
the
but
chefs and
that
stuff
has
is
its pros and
more.
cons too, right? Like I'm not talking about the chefs because they should get their own cut too.
Yeah.
But say like everyone's working and they get the minimum wage, not the minimum wage, but like the under minimum wage,
Yeah.
and they get a tip pool, and then they share the tip pool evenly amongst everyone. Like some people do more work than other people. Some people
That's
don't do
another-
enough
That's
work.
another.
Some people
yeah,
don't even
yeah.
get tipped at all,
That's
but then they're
fair
still
enough.
getting the share of it,
Yeah.
right? For not doing
No,
anything.
but I think like how it goes is like the waitresses all have their own tip jar, right?
No, it
And
goes
then
all into
they-
one thing, right?
No.
No, they have their own jar.
We
and
just
then
get
like
their own.
4% of each person
Yeah.
goes. So if, the more you make,
Yeah.
the better for you. Right?
That just
so,
depends on like the place.
So,
how much
cause,
they
so
tip
that's a
out.
good way to do it because there's no inequality for like
Yeah.
you know like if you know fucking Sandra decided to
Yeah.
be a bitch to them
Yeah.
to do her job, but like you know.
Yeah, I feel like because I've never worked in a restaurant as a server. So
Yeah.
like for me, it's like if I get tipped, I'm grateful. Like I got tipped, but it's
Exactly.
like obviously
Fair.
like I don't want to say that. I feel like if you're a girl, you have more of an advantage.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, you
It's
do.
really, like it's
That's
not.
why
It's
I don't,
reality, man.
it's like obviously like it's a gender thing, but like it is
It is
that
what it is. Yeah.
right?
You can't.
Like,
Because-
that's something we can't change.
It's a serving is a job
Men,
that
like
attracts a
women.
lot of younger girls that are trying to make money really quick
Yeah.
because you get paid so much in tips. I know servers that, you know, on a good Friday night at a casual dining place would be bringing home $500 a night. That's
That's
crazy.
crazy, yeah.
Just
Clubs-
in tips.
Yeah,
Clubs,
just the tips.
not
Clubs
not
is
not
even more.
Clubs even
Yeah,
more.
clubs is even more.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, right? Like, say you make $500 in tips one night, which is an insane amount. That's like almost double sometimes a
Something.
cook's salary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even minimum wage. That's more than double. Like
That's
minimum
way
wage.
more. Because
Yeah.
minimum wage in a day, if you work like a 7 8 hour shift, it's like probably like 100.
And like I feel like
Yeah.
it's the restaurant's duty because think about it this way. Say you got say you got John, who's you know a male, straight Caucasian male, who's you know in school, part-time working, and then you got Sandra, who's a total bitch, but she's still a Caucasian female, and she's part-time working in the same restaurant. But Sandra is a waitress, John is a fucking chef or a line cook or whatever. That's not fair for John. Just because he was born with a dick, this man's getting you know 500 less than Sandra.
What do you mean? How are they getting 500 less?
Because because she's getting most of the tip.
No, but the thing is,
What
the
is
way,
it? Yeah.
but the
So
way,
the employers are not
but the
gonna
way
hire
a restaurant
John.
works is like because like because like the servers have to deal with the most bullshit. Like what I'm saying.
That's
They're
fair
in front
enough.
line, right?
That's why they're like oh like their servers deserve more tips than chefs. But the chefs like they do deserve
But
tips.
they also have to work in like pretty shit conditions half the time, right?
Yeah, like
It's
it's like
That's
scorching
the
hot
thing.
and
The kitchen is
you're
kind
a
of
chef,
like
you know.
a lot of people relate the kitchen to kind of like how the military is. I know it sounds stupid,
Yeah.
but literally like the servers are the front line, you know, and then like the cooks are like, I don't know, the fucking Italian or whatever.
To support staff.
They're like, I
They're the
honestly think, like,
ones that
they're the one that
do
actually
all
do
the work,
everything.
but from the back of the lines that are in the trenches, you know, and
Go in the
then
trenches.
literally that's what we'd call it. Like we're in the weeds, we're in the trenches right now, and we're getting fucked. And then the managers are kind of just like, you know, the generals that are kind of conducting everything and controlling how the flow is. So, yeah.
Are there discrepancies
Sorry,
between male and
Juicy
female
is telling us
services?
something. Sorry.
Our director is pointing out a really,
Are there
Point
discrepancies between female and male servers?
I definitely think so.
Yeah, I thought.
I think males can still get a decent amount.
They
They
just-
can still get a decent
yeah.
amount just because it's the tipping culture,
Yeah.
but they're not gonna get it based off the look.
Looks,
Exactly.
It would have to be like if you got a personality or not.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
Exactly.
unfair.
Even that.
Even if you're like a good-looking dude,
Yeah.
you know, tall, handsome, and you're engaging, I still think it all depends on who the people that are tipping are.
Alright, yeah.
Because a lot of people, you know, I'd say a lot of guys, younger guys, they definitely would rather tip a female server than a male server.
Yeah, because guys are horny. Like
That's
Yeah.
basically what it is.
That's
Like,
horny.
That's what it all comes
I
down
guess it
to.
all comes down
Cause
to
cause a girl, cause I can't imagine a girl tipping so much to like an attractive male. Just like
so basically what we concluded is
tips.
male supremacy. I'm joking.
I see. I still don't agree with the
You
whole,
control this.
like this whole nonsense of not paying people minimum wage and expecting your customers to pay the wages for them. That doesn't fucking make sense to me.
Not if you're tipping already.
And I swear to God, I think it should be illegal, straight up, because it's just such a like animalistic way of doing shit. Like,
yeah, but you have
say like because your wage at that point is being kind of like juggled with, right? Because like say you got a shit night, not a lot of customers. You go home and your paycheck is like not what you need
Yeah.
to pay rent. Then what are you gonna do then?
No, but like the next day.
The next day.
Next
That's
day.
why usually those
So you got a
Friday,
shit
Saturday,
week.
Sunday.
So you got a shit week.
bro.
The
If
next
that's
week.
not, but that's
If
not.
it's not going well for you, then you know it's not for you. That's how it is.
Fair enough, but
Yeah.
Because
no,
usually good restaurants will always make money
Yeah.
no matter what. Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Expect those are like,
usually Sunday
Yeah.
mornings.
prime.
Those are prime time hours.
Okay,
Get a lot of money those days.
it's cool.
And including if you have like specials on like say certain days, like I know a lot of places do like wing nights on like a Tuesday, like a random Tuesday or a Thursday. Those are really busy nights too, so a lot of servers make a lot more money on those days.
Yo, you can actually not tipping for YouTube videos too. You know that?
No
What?
fucking.
There is tipping. Like you can pay like
Oh, there you
amounts,
go.
How-
like donations
another-
and stuff.
But
Oh, okay, that's live stream.
That's
No,
different.
but you do it
It's like
for, like,
Patreon.
that's
right.
It's similar to Patreon, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That I think is cool because if you want to support your own like
No, that's like
content
subscription
creators
service
stuff.
though. Patreon.
Yeah.
Like, you get like extra content.
It's
all the
also-
way.
Yeah.
But I think but you're paying for
Oh,
something, right?
Well, that's Twitch. Twitch is like that.
Twitch
but
is like
Twitch
that,
isn't.
yeah.
But they make it an option. No one.
Twitch
really
is
has
just
it.
for fucking nerds who don't have shit to do with their money. No offense, but
Bro, I use Twitch. I don't tip on Twitch.
Yeah, people
I use
interact
Twitch.
too.
I use Twitch. I don't pay
Interact.
people. I don't ask them
Well, if
questions.
my friends are streaming, then I tip.
Yeah.
It's like they pay and then they ask for questions and stuff.
Bridget,
like
you're not
that, or
getting a
try to
fucking tip.
answer.
Sorry.
I think what you're trying to say is that you know when you go on these live
No.
streams,
Yeah.
when you pay for something, you get to say whatever you want, and then the
Yes.
person that's
Yeah.
streaming, they get to like respond
Answer,
back
yeah,
to
yeah.
it,
But I think that's cool because
Yeah.
that's like
It's
you
it's a
willingly
personal
doing it,
connection
you know.
thing, yeah.
But I think it's like because the guy isn't expecting
Yeah.
like you to do it. He's
Yeah.
just he kind of knows some people are gonna do it, some
Yeah,
people
it's a
aren't.
little bit,
And that's the whole tipping thing. Right? You know, some people are gonna tip, some people aren't. But when you expect them to, tip, not cool.
Oh, right.
Good posture.
It's good.
Our knees touched.
He's like been touching the entire time.
It's
Don't
feisty.
expect a tip for that.
Don't worry. I don't.
Alright, so to conclude it, you guys just give your own opinions on what you guys think about it.
Right to left or left to right.
Yeah,
or-
My opinion. So I think with the whole Western culture, tipping is really important. And if we're gonna just stop it, we have to kind of like do it in a way that it's fair to everyone, not just like the staff, but like the restaurant itself, because it is a part of their earnings, right? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know
So
what
you're
else
pro
to say
tip.
about it. I think, yeah, I am pro tip as long as, you know,
That
it's
sounds
being
weird.
fairly distributed amongst the staff.
Okay.
And I just think if you're going to a restaurant that's a nice restaurant, you should tip.
Whoa.
You're kind
Should
of-
is a strong word.
No, you should tip.
Really?
You should
Why do you
tip.
think I should tip if my bill's already $200?
Well,
Because if you have the money to do
you
200,
decided to go to a nice restaurant.
Okay, but here's the thing though. Like, say I'm just saving up. Like, I don't have money. Like, I want to take my wife to a nice restaurant. And, like, it's $200, and I have like I came with like $210, you know. And I need the extra 10 for Uber or whatever. Like at that point, if I don't have the money for it, should I still be tipping for it? You know, like what is it's something I saved up for. I worked for
It would be wrong to not tip, but like
How's it
it's-
wrong to not
I
tip?
feel like it's. I mean, it's that we're at a point.
right?
It's that,
And you already know they're getting paid less. But like the thing is, I feel like some people don't know what happens behind the scenes, so like
Yeah.
they don't want to tip just because like
Mhm.
if you
Here's
don't
the
know
thing,
anything
though.
about it,
I'm
you just
sorry.
don't want to.
But you not being paid the minimum wage has nothing to do with my money. You know what I mean?
I guess
That's just like straight up. I'm gonna be very cruel, and it sounds like I'm a total dick.
exemplary service is not a part of fancy restaurants. Or a normal part of fancy restaurants.
I guess.
So, like,
I don't know what that means.
let me ask you this: you decide to go to a nice, fancy restaurant.
Yeah.
Right? Say it's a
Yeah, that's
local
true.
restaurant that's sourcing local ingredients. You know, they're doing an amazing job. They're bringing in money for the community and the people around them.
Yeah.
So, would you tip, even if your bill is?
Here's what I think. What it comes down to is financial situation of the customer. Because me, someone who's not clearly doing so well financially,
Yeah.
please. Don't
So
make
why
me
would you make the
feel bad.
decision to go to a restaurant in the first place?
Think
no,
about
but
it this way.
but
Like, what if I,
this goes both ways.
yeah, like what if
Either
I'm saving
he's-
up? Like I want to
in
fancy
a
dinner.
way, like yes, like I
Yeah.
agree. Like I think if you are gonna a restaurant and pay $200, then you should tip. But I feel like if he doesn't tip and he likes the service, then there's a chance he might come back at another time. So like that's a well.
Yeah.
Well, that's true too. Like recurring customers, that's different.
Like, because like it's benefit for the business, but like obviously it's his
That's
choice
true.
to tip.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is a personal
it is
choice.
a choice.
I think that's what it comes out because when you use the word should, it just rubs me the wrong way because at the end of the day, actually your money is your money, mine's is mine, his is his. And
Yeah.
I don't think anyone should have a say in like what you
that's
should
true.
do with your money because I can go spend $500 on cocaine and not fucking tip you because it's my money, At the end of the day, you can't say shit
I
about
would
it.
tip the cocaine
Yeah,
guy a
yeah,
little bit
yeah.
for fucking.
No, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying
that's
like
a fire
my point stands.
No, I don't do drugs.
No, you don't
Let me
do
just
drugs.
clarify.
Plot twist, he's the drug dealer.
He's a plug.
Okay. No, the thing is like, you know what I mean though? Like the point still stands. It's my money. And the thing is, as you said in your scenario, Mark, like I can be working very hard. Like I can be saving for a couple weeks just to have this nice dinner with my wife or whatever, or my friend or whatever. And but like if I don't tip, I'm the asshole now. Doesn't make sense.
You're not the asshole.
Because I think that's what people are making it out to be. Like tipping has become like mandatory now.
Yeah.
And if you don't,
I feel
you
like the
still
only
fucking
people who
front
make
on
you
it.
an asshole is the servers.
Yeah, which is not what I want to. I'm already like fucking broke. I don't want to be made look like an asshole just because I'm broke. Like come on. Man's on suicide watch.
But the thing is, there are some restaurants that already include tips. But
Which is dirty. Dirty restaurants.
no,
I think it depends on the type of restaurants. Like those Asian restaurants that are
Yeah.
actually like, bringing you a round of dishes every 5 minutes because it's one of those fuck, what do you say?
Hibachi?
Like hibachi is just the type of grill. What do you say?
Yeah.
It's like a buffet type, you know.
Like all
well, they don't
You
deserve
just
tip.
order and they just keep bringing it to
They
you.
don't
They just
deserve
keep
tip.
bringing
I don't think they deserve tip. And
I don't know.
you're basically doing everything on your own.
No, like this is different. Like
No, it's
you're
not like
sitting
that.
in
Where
something
they,
and they bring it to you.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
sushi place unlimited kind of
Okay,
thing. where-
that's different because they're actually bringing it to you.
Because
But
it's
I'm
a
talking
lot
about-
of fast-paced thing, and people demand a lot in a short amount of
But
time.
like for
So it's
buffets,
kinda-
I don't think buffets you should tip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
not
you
like
bring,
not like
you
the
serve
buffets
yourself.
where you actually go and
Yeah,
get the food
But
yourself.
the thing is, they still had that tip option.
They do.
they do. Yeah.
They do.
Like,
Okay, here's a question I want to raise. Not a question, but a comparison. Like I don't know if it's fair or not, but what is that? Oh. Yeah, so like to wrap it up, here's a question. Trades, because cooking is a trade in its own, right? So think about it like, not just cooking, but like, for example, if you're gonna hire a plumber, this guy gets, let's say he gets paid $100 an hour. That's a standard price for for a plumber, right? So you go, he does his work, you give him $100. And then for a restaurant, it's like the fact that they are also a trade, but they have to live off of tips and shit. I don't think it's right. And I think it's just that it just proves that the core issue is the fact that employers are not paying the fucking employees the right wages. Because if they did that, it would just. To be honest, if you're paying your employees the right amount, I'd have more incentive to tip them. Because then I feel like I'm actually giving them a little bit more money than just
that's what
paying their paycheck.
That's what tips should be, though. Like if restaurants give you the proper wage,
Yeah, exactly.
and you give them just a little bit as a thank you
Yeah,
for all this.
that's what tips should be. Yeah,
should
I
be.
agree with that. I think that's what it should be. And I think that's what we should.
Like for me, I'm pro on tipping, cause that's just the culture.
I'm
of
pro
my
tipping.
restaurant.
It's all circumstantial.
It's just I guess they need to change it in a way that's servers need to get properly. Wait, what?
You got something on.
Okay, servers need to get actually
tipping now.
What tip, man? I just cleaned up.
I'm broke as fuck.
I'm in the same boat, so I'll tip you next week. Or you can tip me next week. I don't know. Exchange tips.
Okay.
As you were
So how would you
saying.
close it off?
Okay, so I'm pro on tipping, but I just feel like they need to change it in a way. It's just it benefits for both the server and the business, because I feel like tips shouldn't be relied as you living off of it.
Exactly.
Because
I agree with that. Yeah.
in a lot of restaurants, that seems like that's the case.
That seems. Yeah.
It's if you were to have proper minimum wage or a wage just to live comfortably off, then yeah, you're fine.
Sorry.
Oh.
Giselle.
Just everywhere.
Yeah. No, I agree with what Sam has to say. It's very facts. And Angie, what do you?
I'm pro tipping too.
You like to tip it?
Yeah, because I feel like it's kind of expected of them to anyways. So it's you're gonna have to do what you're gonna have to do. But if I'm going to a fancy restaurant, I most likely will be tipping, because if I'm paying so much on a bill, might as well spend a little bit extra just to help them out as well, because they bring all this work.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
But if they're asshole servers or something like that, then you don't have to tip.
Sometimes no. Sometimes I wish if you have the option to tip chefs, I would do that.
Yeah, I'll do
Yeah,
that. Bro. I'll do
we
chefs.
did. Yeah.
I feel I'm not.
Yeah.
If you because obviously we tip. If we're gonna tip, we tip the waiters, right?
Yeah.
But it'd be nice if you can tip that specific chef.
You know what it comes down to though? Because we're not dicks. We don't give waitresses a hard time.
Yeah.
And the fact that I don't give you a hard time, I just feel like you're just doing your regular job. So I'd rather give my tip to the guy who's cooking my food, who's not spitting in it,
Yeah.
Because,
you don't know.
Or
that.
maybe they are.
Maybe they are, but it tastes good, whatever. But,
You asked for the special sauce, right?
you know what I mean? But that's the logic. I think the fact that I feel conflicted is because I'm not an asshole customer. Because these front end waitresses, they do have to deal with shit, but when they
If
deal
most
with
people
me,
that are giving them shit though, they're not gonna tip them.
that's the thing. They aren't gonna tip
sometimes
us, yeah.
you see on social media sometimes one customer can give the worst shit to the server, and then all of a sudden this next customer
It's
will
gonna
get tipped
be-
$1,000.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry you had a bad day.
But I think that to end it off, do you guys agree that one of the biggest issues is just the fact that there's no consistency for
what
you get as a paycheck, to be honest, because one week your numbers could be high, one week they can be mediocre or low, right? I don't think that should be okay, because people need stability in their life, and that's
But
what
at
they
the end of the
that's what
day,
they
you're
go
still
to
getting
work, right?
you're still getting that regular wage that you're getting. You're
Which
still getting
is
it.
still below minimum wage.
Yeah, but $2 under, which is
Yeah.
not too big. If you're getting
It's
a
not
little
too
bit
big,
tip,
yeah.
it's not gonna be.
Yeah. Let's be honest, waitresses are usually not making less than what
Yeah,
they do in
yeah.
regular paycheck, right?
Yeah.
Minimum wage. It's usually more, but yeah, I think that my issue is just that don't use my money like that. If I want to give you money, if I want to give you money, I'll give you money. Just don't fucking assume I'm gonna give you money. That type of thing. Truffle.
No, these are just aliens here. They have a name?
Yeah, Truffle, the Jizz Lord.
Not yet.
We
Yeah,
sacrifice.
so I guess that's.
That's it.
Who's that?
Yeah, I guess that concludes it. But tip or don't tip.
Tip us for this
Tip or
podcast.
don't tip. But if you're gonna tip, don't be that person that tips like a dime, please.
Yeah,
That's
that's
just-
a
at that
whole nother
point, just
topic,
don't
bro. That's a
tip.
whole nother
Hey,
thing.
if you see my name on Uber Eats, tip me as much as you want. That's all I want to say.
But just be smart with your money. If you can't afford to tip, don't feel pressured. And if you can and you actually want to, then go for it. It's your money. don't let other people control you. We live in a society,
Yeah.
and we live in a democratic place.
Yeah,
so.
but still, don't tip a dime.
Yeah,
That's just
no. If you
that's
tip a dime, you
that's
just
just disrespect at that
That's
point.
just-
But don't tip at that point.
at that point just take the L.
I think
Just
it's worse if you
reevaluate
you
your
tip a
life.
dime and not tipping.
At the end, you know what? I think it is all about free choice, and we live in a free country, and we have free choice. So
Yeah, but other than
Do what you
it is
think
a
is right.
choice. Yeah, it is a
yeah,
choice.
it is a choice. It is a very, and I think that's the problem. Right? It is a choice, but slowly it's seeming like it's not a choice
Yeah.
anymore, and it's kind of comes down to how
It's capitalism.
Russia might have something to
It's
do
all
with this.
it's all capitalism. I
It's all
say.
All right, guys. Next time on We Are Not Canada. We are not. See you guys next time.
Yeah,
Yo,
Bye, everybody.